Football Manager 23 is out right now, and there are wonderkid lists, free agent lists everywhere at the moment, and they're great, don't get me wrong, but what if you want to find the right player for your club in terms of the transfer value, the wage budget, the club DNA? I'm going to give you 5 of the best tips to find the perfect player for the club you're with right now. Let's jump into it. Now, the scouting pool is not within those 5 tips. This is a video in itself, which will be coming very shortly on the manager seat. We're going to dive into the best way to set up your scouting with different tier teams, elite, mid, lower league, etc. So don't expect this one in today's video. We're going to give you 5 snappy tips that will help you find the best players. So number 1, we're going to come to the transfers tab and go to the director of football and suggest transfer targets. If you've not done this before, it's a great way to find talent using your director of football, assuming you've got one and they're very good. So transfer, loan, end of contract, free transfer, the options. This is brilliant if you come into the end of December to tap into some of the free talent out there. And for the lower league markets, this is perfect for you. So we are Genoa. We've got £4.75 million to spend. Let's go to the director of football and find out for a centre-back what he can suggest for us. And he's got one option. It's a no-nonsense fullback, Andrea Chioffi, who's decent. He's within our budget, which is something the director of football does factor in. And most importantly, they do actually want to come to the club. Now, sometimes your director of football will not find somebody. For example, if you look at a centre mid and we click on suggest, it will come up to say no players have been found. I suggest trying different positions. You can even drop down the road to find exactly if you want a winger, for example, and suggest to see if he does find something more particular for you. So that is option number 1 to find the best players in Football Manager. Now, admittedly, they might not be the best, but they're relevant to your transfer budget, your wage budget, and players that want to come to you. Tip number 2, and this is probably the most simple one, and I only learned it in FM23, and I've been playing this for God knows how long. Scouting tab, come up to players where you get your normal search from. We've got transfer and loan where you choose which ones are interested in you. Now, if you click on this toggle here, it gives you more scope. So, for example, we can choose all of the players who are doubtful that want to come to us. What we will do is open up better players. So we got Matthias Tell here, Makuku, Aitnori, who are very good players. If we change that from doubtful, like I don't really want to come to you, to extremely interested, I will definitely come to you, we lose a lot of those players. So by doing this, it will open up the scouting pool for you to go and find better players. Or fair players, some decent names at the top of that list. Number 3 on the list, you've got to work a little bit harder for. We can actually stay in this tab and search for some players. Click on the new search, and when you come up here, you choose your position. So we're going to stick to centre back, and we're just going to choose the role we're using, which is a ball playing defender. Select that, click on OK, and this will bring up all the specific players who are competent in that role. So this method is a really nice way to find particular roles you need in your team. So for example, I'm loving the libero at the moment. Let's see if there's any about. I've not even checked this as of yet. We've got 2. So we click on OK. James Abankwah, who's playing for Udinese. He's Ireland Ghanaian. He can play very competently as a libero. The other one is Giulio Pleguezuelo, FC20. See, he is a very decent player, isn't he? A technically gifted centre-back. He was one I would definitely look at. Number 4 on the list is a nice little way to find players that are similar to the ones you like. So Wesley Fofana is a brilliant centre-back. He's pacey, he's good in the air, and technically he's decent as well. Say we wanted to get a player similar to him. You can go up to comparison, find similar players, and then it will bring up the list of players with similar attributes to Mr. Fofana. And looking at this list, there are some very good boys there. Jackson Perozzo, never heard of him, 21 years old. Amazing. How good will he be? But none of these are likely to be interested. So if we click back on transfer and loan, make sure it's still on doubtful now, and then we'll come up to edit search. So the stats for Fofana have been put in here. You can basically say, all right, 15 is a bit high for our level. Let's drop it down to 14. And we got 3 boys who popped up already. So Andrea Papetti is perfect. He's cheap, he's under budget, and he's similar to the player we love in Wesley Fofana. A really nice way of finding players for your team. Alright, moving on to number 5 on the list, and it's not the last one. I've got a bonus one for you at the end, so stick around for that one. And for this one, we're going to jump back into new search once again, and we're going to come to the attributes tab. So let's move away from the defensive role at the moment. Let's go for an attacking role and advance forward on attack, and it will highlight all of the perfect roles and attributes for that position, and it sets it to at least 15. So let's click on OK. Now another caveat, that's going to pick up all players who have those attributes. You want to select the position. So let's go for an attacker here, and we'll start dropping that down to maybe the 13 or 12, and we've got 1 player. So Gregoire Defrel from Sassuolo, who's worth £24,000, which is nothing. Very good player, 31 years old. As an advanced forward, he matches most of those stats up to 13 or 12. Another good way to find a player Sadly, this boy's out for 6 months, so don't touch him. Alright, so the bonus one, let's make sure on the transfer and the loan we're set to doubtful, because I want to make sure we capture all the possible players. We're going to come to new search. Pretty much everything we've done, we're going to fast track. And this is the one tip you could use to find all your players. Click on advanced if you've got a player you like. So Bernardo Silva, Man City, I absolutely love the boy. Let's find a really nice creative player in the midfield, and what it does is set the position, the role, and all of those attributes that work well with Bernardo Silva. You can tweak these as much as you want. You can do this to create your perfect club DNA. If you want boys that work hard with good stamina, for example, this is where you can set that and then tweak the role around it. So let's come out here by clicking OK. Now there's one downside to this, and I don't know if this is a bug, but when you do that, it comes up here to say no staff member available. So for some reason, even though with Genoa, we're a decent team, we've got all our scouts available, we've got a director of football, this is greyed out. Comments down below, does this happen with any of your teams? I'd love to find out if that's one of the bigger ones, for example. Fingers crossed that will clear itself. If it doesn't, use your common sense. Come down to what we've been doing. You can even go back to quick on this part, so it's the page you're used to looking at. You can drop this down to maybe a 13. You can decide to match maybe 4 out of the 7 and sort from transfer value, or even look at the ones who've actually been scouted by your players. For example here, and Bruno Costa is the one that's come up. 25, he's worth £750,000, so he's transfer listed. Is he going to be a technical midfielder? He is. Perfect. So very similar to Bernardo Silva. I could get him in my team easy as a very technically gifted central midfielder. So hopefully you found those useful. They are very simple, as I mentioned. You can obviously adapt them to the ways that you like to scout for players. We're going to do a proper deep dive into the scouting centre in a few weeks on the manager seat. But for now, some simple ways for you to find the players. If you enjoyed that, check out this one and I'll catch you soon. Take care.